Hey guys, in today's From the Install Bay, we're going to show you how to install this Alpine ILX 007 in this BMW M3. It's like it was made for it. Stay tuned. So one of the problems in these BMWs is the air box gets in the way of installing a double din radio. So the nice thing about the Alpine is that it's a short chassis radio. So the standard double din just won't fit in here because it's so deep. In order to make it fit, once you get the radio out, there's an air box in here that gets in the way. So in order to put a double din in, you have to cut out a substantial portion of that and then remake some of the control arms. It can get expensive and very time consuming. So with the short chassis, we don't have to do any of that. So let's get this stuff apart and we'll show you how to do it. These are German radio extraction tools. There's two spots on the lower end of the radio, here and here. You want to stick these in so that this tooth is facing this way and that way. This is what makes this radio unique. As you can see, this area here is removed for the air box. So with the Alpine being just a short chassis, it makes it a lot easier to fit. So this is the air box I was talking about. As you can see, it kind of gets in the way. Those wiring harnesses there, these right here, these are going to have to be moved down because they're going to get in the way of the Alpine. These factory wiring harnesses, these can be tucked away because they're not needed anymore for this install. So now what we have to do is we have a dash kit, but the dash kit doesn't have a mount, so we have to make a mount. Normally we wouldn't worry about the face of the radio, but in this install we have to do a little bit of moving in and out as far as test fitting, so it's, be safe. So this is the kit we're working with. It's made by a company called Connect2. It's distributed by Metra, or at least it was. It's a CT23MB07. Now Metra has come out with a new kit for these cars that eliminates the need to do a lot of this stuff. The only problem is it makes the radio stick out of the dash like about 2 inches. So it doesn't look all that great. As you can see, this one looks very similar to the factory, fit and finish and thickness. The only problem is it doesn't come with any form of mounting whatsoever. So essentially what we have to do is we have to take this radio and we have to mount it so that it stays in this kit. And that's where we're at. So it's not as bad as you would think. Let's test fit it first. So we have plenty of room in the dash that this is actually going in about 1 inch. The problem that we run into is that there's only 2 locations for screws, which are these top here. So if you were to push here, the kit would go in. So we're going to need to build some kind of bracing for the bottom, as well as be able to mount the radio to this kit. What we want to do is we want to mount this radio directly to this kit. There's a lip here on the kit itself that we can attach something to actually come off and screw into the radio itself, thus making the radio mount just like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some measurements of the radio, so probably about 3 3/4, and we're going to need it at about 2 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and make 2 pieces, attach it to this here, then screw the radio in. And then we're going to add some feet here so that it doesn't, when you push on it, rock like this. We got one contoured in shape. Now we're just going to copy this to the other side, and then we're going to attach them. So we're going to use some CA glue. I'll put a link to this stuff in the show notes just in case you guys haven't figured out where to get it yet. So what we want to do is, this is the thick. We're going to rub this in. Remember, whenever you're using this stuff, make sure you hold it so that it dries down like this. That way it doesn't drip all over your product. So now we need to measure how deep we need to make the spacer here so that this doesn't collapse. Okay, so what we did is we changed things up a little bit from my initial idea. I went ahead and cut a groove in this to correspond to the groove so that it would L up over this, so I'd have more glue area. I made it 9 1/4 by 1 inch. So now we're just going to go ahead and glue that on. Right, we got it glue on. We're going to test fit it in the car before we attach the radio, just to make sure we don't need to make any adjustments. So we got everything rounded over, tapered so that it fits into the dash nice and snug. Now what we want to do is go ahead and drill the holes into the side of this. So what we want to do is take the radio, take a Sharpie, figure out which holes you want to use. And take a straight edge. If you have the non-navigation radio, at this point all you'd have to do is remove the AC controls that were located in the dash right here and move them down here to where the pocket is. You can order the car specific kit if you want, but it will fit into the pocket just fine. Then you can install this, plug in all the harnesses, and be done. We aren't that fortunate. This had a factory navigation system, so all those connections are in the trunk. So we're going to go ahead and pull the trunk apart and get to the actual radio brain that's back there so that we can integrate into the factory Harman Kardon system like this customer wants to do. So let's do that. So this is the harness we're looking for back here. This is the factory radio harness. This is what would typically be located behind the radio, as well as the antenna, which is right here. We're going to make a harness that's going to go from the front of the car to the back of the car so we can plug directly back into this. And then there's the whole rack we took out. That's going to go back in. So a couple things we're going to need: the BAA22 antenna adapter, the BHA 9003 harness, a pennant extension, as well as some Stinger speed wire and some primary wire. So we've got our harness all made up here. We're going to go ahead and plug it into the factory harness. The reason why we're plugging it in now is so that we can test fit where all our wires need to go and get them zip tied. The factory amp sits about here. So this can go like right about there. So we'll go ahead and get this zip tied up, and then we're going to unplug it so that while we're running the wires through the car, they don't blow any fuses. Okay, so we have all the wires coming into the dash. We got our USB RAM. We're gonna go ahead and tuck these up in here for a minute, because we need to drill 2 holes in order for the radio to mount to. All right, let's pull the screws back out. We'll plug it all in. Alright, so we have the factory amp that's back here already installed. We have our wire ran and everything. There's no open wires or anything like that, anything where anything can short out. So we can go ahead and connect these 2 back together now. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it on. What's the weather like today?
Okay, the temperature today will range between 75 degrees and 87 degrees.
Alright guys, that brings this one to a close. So if you have one of those late model M3s and you want to put a double din in it and you have an iPhone, you might want to look at the Alpine ILX 007. It's a perfect fit. If you guys have any questions about this video, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you guys want to find out more about us, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and right here on YouTube. You guys have a great night. We will see you later next time. Bye.